Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to do a quick video this morning. I know I'm full of videos lately. But I wanted to do a quick video this morning. I wanted to let you know something about me spiritually as far as this. This is a flute that I made out of a walnut branch. My dad's half Cherokee, and my grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee, and my great-great-great-grandmother was on the Trail of Tears. And for the longest time, I've always been very, excuse me, just into the Native American culture, into my ancestors, just wondering if my ancestors ever got the word of Christ, and just if they knew who Jesus was, like before any, crusaders come over, before anybody ever come over here, how did they know? Well, now I'm starting to find out more things like this. There's a stone in New Mexico that they found that, maybe the Hopis were contacted by Jesus, Yeshua. And there's also, it's called Prophecy Rock in Arizona that I've looked at, and it states that they were visited by Jesus. So, and I've been to over 50 Indian dwelling sites across the Four Corner states, and there's crosses all over these sites. And these sites are thousands of miles away from each other. And the tour guides I'm always like, what is up with all these crosses? What's up with all these? Now, some of them are not like crosses or plus signs, but on the last site I went to, I can't even remember what the site name was, but there was a white, and it was an actual cross, not a plus sign, but a cross, and it was white, and you could tell there was something hanging on it, like somebody hanging on it. And I asked the guy, I said, what's up with this cross right here? And he goes, oh, it has nothing to do with Christianity, it has nothing to do with that. And I don't know, it just seemed like the more and more Indian dwelling sites I went to, the more and more I realized that maybe they were contacted. I mean, the Indians sacrificed animals just like to their God, just like they sacrificed animals over in Israel and overseas for their sins. And so did the Indians. So it's just amazing to me that's just not a coincidence to me. And the more I study up on it, the more I can see that they were contacted. I feel like maybe they were contacted by God. That's how great God is. He's awesome like that. He's awesome like that. Okay? So, but anyways, so one day I saw this lady and she was selling these flutes. And I said, I want to buy one of those flutes. I want to buy one. And she said, well, why don't you come to my shop and make one? I said, all right, that's awesome. I'll make one and give her some money to use her shop to make one. I said, that's awesome. And she was really into Native American culture as well, and her husband's Choctaw, and they were telling me how they were all into Native American, and I'm all into Native American, history and stuff. And long story short, I went over there and I made a flute. Now, what makes this flute special is that the tree that I got this off of was hit by lightning 3 times. According to the lady, that makes this even more special. I don't know what that means, but according to her and her Indian stories on flutes, that makes this flute even more special. So I went to her shop and I made this flute, and there was just something about it. I wanted God to know, and I had been researching on at that time that, you don't want to worship false idols. You don't want to get mixed up too much into the Indian stuff because, remember that, the Lord Jesus Yeshua is more important than Indians. So I prayed to God about it. And I was like, I don't want to, because the lady told me, she's like, I want you to connect with while you're fiddling it and working with this, I want you to spiritually connect with it. And I said, well, I don't want to do that because I don't want to. Sorry, my dog, like I said, she never lets me do this in the morning. Stay there and quit whining. And, so, yeah, I didn't want to do that. I thought that might be a little risky, and, I don't know why I have so low lighting in this place. Like, every time I put my video on, it seems like it just can't get any light to it. Ugh. Anyway, so, yeah, so I asked God and I prayed over my flute while I was working on it. I said, I don't want this to mean more than you do in my life. I love my Indian heritage, but, and I opened my Bible and I said, and I laid my flute on it and I said, please give me a sign to let me know that this is okay or this is not okay. And I opened my Bible and I just kind of just opened it to whatever page it opened to. And it opened to Isaiah chapter 61, verse 9. And this was the first verse that I opened up and saw. And to me, it locked me to my knees when I read this. Okay, it locked me to my knees. Now I know in here, literally, it's not talking about the Cherokee people. But that's what I was talking to Jesus about when I was praying. So this is the verse I got. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord hath blessed. And I read the King James Version now because I was reading the NIV that my friends gave to me at my church. It says, in the NIV, it says, acknowledge that they are a people which the Lord has blessed. And I'm all like, oh my God, because to me, in that moment when I was praying, that verse meant the Cherokee are blessed people. Like, go ahead and make your flute. The Native Americans will be known that they are blessed people. And what's crazy is the more and more that I research up on, and I know it's the Hopi and not Cherokee, but it's not by chance that when I went to Mesa Verde National Park the first summer that I decided to travel, that I got all into these Native American Indian dwellings. And they're all Hopi and Zuni tribes. I know I'm missing a bunch of other tribes, but they're mainly Hopi and Zunis. And it's just like, they knew. So if they knew, and Jesus, Yeshua, or however you say it, I don't care anymore. Like, for real. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I do care, but sometimes it just gets a little over my head and a little ridiculous. But, like, anyway, so let me play my flute for you guys. See if I can get it right this time. So that's my sound of my flute. It could be better, it could be worse. It's a little wet out here right now where I'm at, so my flute kind of, it's wooden. It's got a little bird on top, you know, so sometimes it plays a little better other days than others, because if it's got a little humidity, then it plays a little softer. If it's a little drier, it plays a little louder. But and right now it's kind of humid, so it's playing a little soft. But I hope you guys could hear that. And the other thing I wanted to say was, when I was making this flute, I collect feathers, and feathers symbolically to me are answered prayers, or especially the ones that are just laid right in front of you like it was for you. You know, to me that's a symbol of God's looking after you. You have an angel looking after you. Your one of your prayers were answered. But anyways, I was making this flute in her shop, and I said, well, I'd really like some feathers to put on it, but I don't want to put any feathers on it until God gives me some feathers for it. And as I was sitting there describing to her what feathers symbolize to me, and I have bunches of feathers, like all different kinds. I've got blue jays, I've got cardinals, I've got eagle, I've got owl. And I'm Native American. I have a Cherokee cart, so I don't even want to hear from another Native American, oh, you're not allowed to have an eagle feather. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm Cherokee, and I have an Indian card to prove it. So I don't even want to hear that it's illegal. I've got owl feathers, blue jay feathers, all different kinds of feathers. So anyways, as I was talking to her about it, these two feathers roll in to the front door of her shop. Just two of them, okay? Just two. And I said, oh, well, as I was talking to her, I said, oh, here, there's my feathers. And she was like, wow, that's awesome. And then when I got done completing my flute, putting my little details, like this little rock, these little rocks and things and feathers, and then I put, a ring on here that I used to wear, and, leather and just extra little things. I tried my flute out. I kind of played a little bit, and she was like, wow. I mean, this lady's been making flutes for over 20, I think like 15, 20 years now. This lady's been making her own flutes. And I made this flute, and I played a little bit, and then a week later I come back and I played a couple songs that I had made up on it. And she was just blown away. She's like, can I buy your flute? And I'm like, no, you can't buy my flute. I said, you got me all into this, all spiritually and everything else, telling me to connect spiritually with this, and I super uber did. And I mean, I read you the verse out of Isaiah, like I super got into this, and now you want to buy my flute? Like, no. And she was like, I can just hear how beautiful your flute is, and I've never made a flute that sounded like your flute, and blah, 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 blah. And she was just completely just blown away. So I don't know. It's like this lady's made flutes for over 15 years, and she wanted my flute. So that's not by chance, not by chance. Not by chance. So, I don't know. It's 14 minutes, so I probably better go. If I go over 15 minutes, then YouTube will shut me down. So, love and peace.